many people did you, and this is a question I'm asking both of you, because, how many people did you call up anybody, or did you inform anybody, listen, I'm going down, get on my back because I'm going down anyway? Did you?
When I was in the pen.
Do you know what I'm talking about, right? Like I called up friends of mine and said, listen, they already got indicted, but they weren't me. They weren't the front page of the Daily News. There were nobodies in the case.
When I took off on the run, before I left, I had dinner and I invited, there was like 8 or 9 people, my brokers. And I told them all, I said, look, I'm going on the run. I'm taking off. I'm like, if you guys get indicted or get talked to by the FBI, like, tell on me.
Right.
Everybody tell on me. Tell them you didn't know anything. It was me. Like, just fucking like, oh, I'm not going to do
right, yeah. How many guys
going to do that? I'm like, all right, well,
every one of them signed an agreement, right?
They were driving. They were waiting in the fucking.
What I was saying is, when I'm in the pen, I'm getting phone call after phone call and message after message. This guy's ratting. That guy's ratting. And I'm looking at
you had a phone in the fucking. You had a fucking phone.
Phones. We're in Brazil.
Oh, I'm waiting. Where the fuck? What prison were you in? You had a fucking. Oh, okay.
And so some of the guys, we did the movie about Klaus, and we discussed this.
What movie?
And we're doing a series called Nordic Narcos about Klaus's life.
Oh, is it out yet?
It'll be out next month.
Okay.
Yeah. But
helping him promote a little, all right?
Klaus will promote.
Yeah.
So actually, I'm doing a radio show tomorrow in Denmark. I think 4:00. So about the show and about murder and things like that. But when these guys are all rolling one after another, I look at my friend. I go, "This ain't no surprise." I mean, I've been in the street my whole life. I said, so the thing is, when you start hearing about the bosses all going against you, and when you hear about the bosses' guys and captains, now you're saying to yourself, you got to laugh and say, they're so full of shit, all this tough talk they all got. And they all got an excuse why they're meeting the FBI, why they're sitting down, why they're only giving a little information, why they do. This is nonsense talk. You know as well as I do. All these guys are talking. All of them are either doing it undercover snitches or they're informants or whatever they're doing. So when people think, when I was sitting there and think that they were going to do anything different, I'd be a fool to believe they're not going to talk. So when you talk to these guys, they know what it is. They know what all these guys are talking. They know exactly what it is. So,
yeah. So all the stand-up guys the stand-up guys, like you went to the meeting with 8 guys, right?
Yeah.
I said, listen, I got a problem. I'm leaving. Cover your ass. No, I'm a gangster. I'm not going to do it. Yeah. These guys are with the pen, right?
Yeah, yeah. Listen, nobody's killing each other in the mortgage, in a fucking over mortgage. Yeah.
Normally.
I mean, that's not.
They're not killing anybody in the mob. 40 years ago with the myth of the mob. They were all trying to live off for 40 years ago, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
This doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
You had a handful of killings within the mafia in the last 20 years. Handful.
Yeah.
It's over. With the technology, with the sentences.
You can't get away with anything today.
They're making each other in their underwear.
Otherwise, there's one or two we might have hit already.
What is the name? Oh, God. Joey Marlino? Skinny Joe?
The Philly guy.
I was locked up. Yeah, I was locked up with him.
How was he? Is he a nice guy? I mean, I don't know. You don't know either?
I mean, I had lunch at his table 2 or 3 times. He had in Coleman.
Right.
Guys are coming up to me like, Cox, how much time you got? I'm like, I got 26 years. I'm like, but somebody could fuck up and tell me where there's a body. I'll be out of here tomorrow. Right. And they go, oh, that's how it is. I go, that's exactly how it is. Like, I'm not here to make friends. Right. Like, I was qualms. And then when I actually got my sentence reduced and everybody knew, it was 10 times as bad. So Marlino's.
I guess I found out where the body.
An idiot.
Yeah. Oh,
you idiot.
I'm not shy about it. Like I'm leaving. Yeah. Guys are like, damn, bro. Like,
yeah, damn, bro.
Like they're like, yeah. They're like, shit, man. You ain't. So I guess you ain't the guy to fucking do nothing with. I'm like, bro. You better hope they talk to you before they talk to me. Because I'm telling them in the car on the way there. Yeah. Right. And they're like, God damn, God. That's how it is. Yeah. And just joking around and walk away but. The point is that Marlino's having lunch with me on a couple of occasions. Yeah. And Tommy's there. And Tommy, when we go to sit, like Marlino's coming over to bring his tray. He's like, listen, do not fucking say a thing about cooperation. Do not, if like he doesn't have any clue, he has no, and he sits down and eats with me and I don't fucking say a thing to him because Tommy's so flipped fucking out over it. Yeah. Like he's like, don't say a fucking thing. If he fucking knew that you did. And Marlino obviously has an issue with it, but he also got what he get. a couple of years.
Yeah, 3 years, something like that. I don't know.
2 years, I think.
Yeah. But I mean,
a gambling beef or something.
How long did Tommy get on that? 6 months.
Oh God, I think he got like 6 months. And listen, you'd have fucking thought they gave him 10 years.
Oh yeah, no question.
He bitched and moaned he fucking hustled and bitched and moaned the whole time. I was like, what are you doing? He was like, I fucking believe they gave me this much time. Can't believe it. I'm like, you
spent more time taking a shit. You spent more time taking a shit.
I stood in lines longer than you. What are you talking about? Like, I need to get halfway house. You got to call. Like, he's bribing people. Go talk to the fucking counselor. Go this, go that. It's like, what are you doing, bro? It's 6 months. It's a joke. It's nothing. You're going to get halfway house. Calm down. You'll get a few months. I mean, fucking,
it's incredible.
Fuck.
Yeah.
But honestly, like, he was one of the guys putting money on your books. He always had food. He's always like, you need anything? He did the whole thing.
So he did a lot of bribe work there too.
Yeah, but I'm saying he was actually a very good, good to me when we were in prison. So he was cool.
Yeah, it was good to you. Yeah.
But the problem with him is, he's so hyper. He has to be doing something all the time. He can't calm down.
Okay.
He's constantly
a little unstable. Yeah, we found a little bit of his instability. I don't want to get into that, But anyway, so you guys had lunch with Joey.
They ate all the time.
What do they call him? Skinny Joey? I mean, is that his nickname?
Think he likes,
I don't know, but
they had they had lunch all the time. But I'm saying it's comical because I would go and sit at his table. He fucking just, hey, what's up? How are you doing?
I remember sitting at a table. I was telling you the other day, we're in Mariana, McKeon, and a friend of mine, Scott Hogan, sits down. And Scott is spatial unawareness. He's not aware of spatialness. So he would be like 8 guys would be watching TV, and he'd put his back to 8 guys, and they'd be sitting right here. So they couldn't see the TV in front of them. And, everybody in prison, they're trying to be polite. They don't want to be, hey, dude, move your fucking ass. You know what I'm saying? So they'd be looking around and they'd be going,
That's
hey.
Polite.
They'd be go, hey. And all of a sudden, I see Scott. I come up, I run over and grab Scott. He goes, what? I go, come here. I want to talk to you. He goes, what? I go, can you stand over here? There's 8 guys behind you trying to watch the fucking game and you're standing in front of them. So he sits down at lunch with us one day. And he sat with me quite often, but there's another guy at the table who's just straight up convict all his life. This guy's a convict all his life. We're inmates. This guy's a convict. He's done state bids. He's done everything in his life.
It's his whole life.
This is his whole life, right? This is his life. This is what he's done. Scott sits down, and he goes, takes up a fucking tissue and blows his nose at the table. The guy gets up and says, you dirty motherfucker. Don't you ever do that in front of me again. I'm like, Scott. I'm trying to grab him. Don't do that. And it was a hanker. It was a hanker like this big.
But I told you the other day, a guy did it at the chow hall, right? I wasn't sitting there. I was at another table. And I didn't know the day before the guy warned him. He passed gas. The next day, or 2 days, or whatever it was, a week, I don't know, because I wasn't at the table. I'm sitting, I missed it.
Now, where was this? What prison was this at?
It was McKean.
Oh, McKean? Oh, yeah.
And
the dream.
Lee was with me.
Lee?
So the guy must have passed gas again. The guy just walked up and fucking hit him a shot and beat him all over a chow, which is a bad place to beat somebody.
Yeah, you don't want to fight a chow hall.
Inciting a riot.
Yeah, right.
But guys don't understand prison. It's, a lot of things. There's another time I was in Allenwood, and the guy has, they all put their chairs in front for the TV and whatever. The routine.
Somebody sat in his spot.
So no, I came in. I came in and there was no chair, and I put my chair there. And the guy taps me on the shoulder and he says, I sit here every week. So, you're looking at him now. It's too late now.
Yeah.
And I says, yeah, well, there was no chair here. Yeah, but we've been sitting here for in a way, because we know jail. He's got a point.
Yes.
But it's too late because
and now I'm here. So, right. So next week beat me. Yeah, right. Exactly.
He doesn't think. Maybe he's not thinking like that. He's trying to think like
that we're okay with each other. Okay. Yeah. No, you can't.
So now I'm not moving. I go, well, I don't know what you do every week, but I'm here.
Yeah.
So now my friend comes in from the door and he's looking. He sees something's up. And he looks at me, and the guy walks out. So I know what he's doing. He's going to go put on his boots.
Yeah.
I walk over to my friend, and he goes, they watch basketball every day in front there. I go, it's too fucking late now.
Yeah, now it doesn't matter. It don't matter.
Yeah.
The sausage dinner don't fucking matter.
I made the move already. Right. And I'm here, and I didn't, thinking back on it, who knows how do you handle the situation? Because I've been in jails my whole life too. So, now you got to say to yourself, well, it's me. I'm not the other guy. I'm not this average guy sitting here.
Right.
And so he goes and puts his boots on, and 6 guys are there. And I think we're going to go. And then one of the guys one of his friends that was friendly with me was like, man, he tells his friend, just go sit there for today. And they're back and forth. And I ended up staying, even though I didn't want to stay anymore. Actually, I didn't want to stay.
You didn't want to watch the game?
No, I didn't want to watch the game.
But at that point, you're not going.
But I couldn't go nowhere. So my other friend says, why did you do that? I says, actually, I didn't do it purposely.
Right.
It just happened. And then I just wasn't going to back down after that because it wouldn't look right.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't give a fuck about the game. I didn't give a fuck about the chair. But I kind of was, when you think back on it, I was wrong. But I just didn't want to let people think that I'm moving for somebody.
Right.
The same situation, I was in the medium and this guy sat in the other guy's spot and he waited until the guy, like, he never said nothing. He walked in, he saw it, like other guys knew, okay, shit, he's sitting in his spot. He didn't say anything. He waited like 45 minutes. The guy finally got up, picked up his chair and left. So he comes up, he's like, hey man, he's like, look, the spot you were sitting in, that's my spot. Like, he's like, yeah, well, you weren't there. He's like, I understand, but that's my spot. Like, don't sit there again. All right. All right. I don't want any problems. Just don't sit there. Guy goes, yeah, all right, man, whatever. Next day, puts his chair down. Okay, well, I felt, to me, he handled it right. You weren't sitting there. Yeah. He didn't know any better. You tell him later.
Right.
Didn't tell him like yours where he said, no, he's trying to get you to like move.
Right.
Yeah. Like, no, now you're embarrassing me. Now, like you said, now I look like a fucking punk and now I can't move. He should have just waited for you to move.
Right.
But then guess what? The next day, guy sat there again.
Yeah, well, now he's saying, let's go.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
He didn't say anything. He just looked at him. Okay. He went upstairs. He got a fucking broom for the mob. Came back, that water was whack, just right in the back of the.
He had to.
Fell down. Hit the fucking.
Knocked him out.
He had to. He had to.
I mean, we all.
He had to do that.
But we all used to put our chairs out in a spot.
Yeah.
I mean, but you really think about it, when a guy comes in from a jailhouse guy, you're not going to do that to him either because we've been down a long time.
Yeah.
Say, listen, I don't care what you did. What made you deserve that spot? And it's not like the chair's already in place. The chair's
right. If it's frozen,
we used to put a towel on there, a blanket, we put a cup for movie night.
Right.
That's different. But when there's no chair there and you're sitting in the spot, he goes, "That's my spot."
Yeah, it's just stupid.
Yeah,
it is.
These are dumb shit things that happen.
It's super.
I had
super stupid.
So I was down 11 and a half years. And I might have told you a story. I don't think I told you the story. So I watch Friends. Like Friends comes on every day, right? So and I listen. I look forward to watching Friends. Could you imagine? I like Joey and the other assholes on the show. It was fun. Plus Jennifer Aniston's on there, Cox and the other blonde. So it's a fun show. So they do one little thing that I always went like that in the middle, in the introduction to the jingle to the show, right? And I do that, and I do it every time. So some guy, I don't know, Redbone, they call him. He's sitting there with these big Cos headphones on, and he goes, "Hey," I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Can you not clap your fucking hands? It hurts my ears." I go, "Excuse me?" Now he already made a mistake. He wasn't kind. He said, "Oh, you're hurting my ears. Stop me." I go, "Now, what do you mean?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, I've been doing this for fucking 3 years. Now I'm getting ready to go home in 3 months. Yeah. He goes, I've been doing this for 3 years. He goes, well, I don't like it. I said, oh, you don't like it? I go, okay, wait till next time. So I said, I'm going to tell you what. I said, how about this? You go fuck yourself and don't ever talk to me again. I said, and I'll do this every day for the rest of the time I'm here. Next day, Mike, he knows me. I don't know him. Right. Redbone, Mike, come here. I want to talk to you. I said, this guy wants to fucking bring it, straighten it out, whatever. Because that's what we do in prison. He says, come on. And I'm stupid. Because I'm straight up.
Well, you said it. We didn't.
Because I'm straight up. You want to talk to me? Come on, let's go talk. What's going to happen when we talk is up to us, right? When we work it out. Walk in his cell, closes the door, and a guy 6'8" stands in front of the door on the other side. And he pulls out a knife like this fucking long. I was telling you this story. I'm never going home. I got nothing to go home to. He's going home in 6 weeks. I got nothing to go home to. He's a guy from D.C. They're actually state inmates. D.C. prisoners, people don't know for the federal system. So he's a state inmate. And Redbone, and I ain't going home. And I went, I looked at him, and I tell this story. It's intense when I really get into it. And I looked at him, and I said, boy, that knife's going to kill this motherfucker. His own knife. He's going to die from his own fucking knife. That's how I fucking dealt with it. Of course, I said, dear God, forgive me, because I'm going to kill him, and I'm going home in 3 months.
Well, you know, number one.
Not if you kill him.
That don't know. Well, for the people that don't know, that are listening to this,
3 months away from going home.
No one's supposed to ever tell somebody when you're going home, because this is what goes on. So if they think you're short, they
start trying when you're trying.
They know that you don't want nothing anymore because you got your hands tied, you're going home. So you shouldn't tell anybody.
Right. Yeah, and I don't know that he knew that, but I was well known in prison.
Yeah, listen. Well, I did a book. It's like a handbook, prison rules, things to do and don't do. So, and one of the other things you guys know.
Oh, you did a book?
Yeah.
How many books?
5 books.
Jeez. Oh, you're some writer. You're some fucking writer. He doesn't speak English. He doesn't speak English well, but he can write.
I'm listening to you. Go ahead.
What's my last in Mafia International?
There you go.
But we because of all these stupid little things in jail, we had this other thing. When you go to chow for lunch, guys would put their towels, would tell the guy, hey, put my towel on the bench.
Yeah.
Put my towel.
Yeah.
So, guys, nobody's touching it.
Yeah.
Because they're afraid that, they don't want the confrontation, guys.
Yeah.
So one of my friends used to put the towel on the bench. And I used to tell my friends, Lee, these are some Lee Whitney. Canada guy. He got caught with 37 tons a week.
Yeah.
Great guy.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Very nice guy.
Took
my back even.
We're always playing jokes. So we kept taking his towel and we were moving it. And somebody would ask us, is anybody on the bench? Nah, use it. These guys are asking them. Right. They don't want an issue. And my friend's going crazy. Who's touching my fucking towel?
Oh, it was your own friend. Your own friend.
And we're like, I don't know. So you go over to the guy on the bench. He goes, did you touch my towel? Because he's benching him.
Yeah.
He goes, I didn't touch your towel. So he don't want to give us up.
Yeah.
So I'm use the bench.
Yeah.
So he does it again. Finally, he comes over there and we put little snacks on the bench. And he says, you fucking ass. He goes, what the fuck is wrong with you? You're going to get me in a fight.
Yeah.
We ain't going to get in a fight. Yeah. But the thing is really crazy, and everybody does that. These little games in jail is really ridiculous. Like, who the fuck makes these rules that you put your towel?
It's yours. It's yours.
And it's yours, and you're not touching it.
Yeah, they would do that in the showers.
Like,
you got a fucking thing.
That means I'm taking a shower.
There's a line, and there's a fucking towel that's been there for 10 minutes.
Yeah. Actually, in Hillsborough, a guy did do that to me on the second floor, and I was steaming. I had my towel up there, and he just went in.
Right.
And then he told another guy, "Fuck him," I'm already got my hands full with trouble. I'm facing all kinds of life sentences. Yeah. And I'm fucking fuming. I talked to my friend.
How many life sentences did you face?
Oh, a lot.
20 what?
Yeah. And so I said to my friend,
Matt, that's up to you on this side.
Stand by the door. I just stand by the door. I said, I can't let this go. And I went in, and you remember Hillsborough, they lock the doors automatically locked.
Yeah.
So I went in and I hit the guy. And whatever. And you know what he did? He hit the button and they came up and, I got locked down and whatever. But, these are stupid things. Even I was thinking about, like, afterwards. Imagine, what would I care that he went in the shower?
Yeah, now it seems stupid. It's important
it's
though.
Right.
It's just hard to explain.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's hard to explain to people outside on the street, like, what's the big deal that he did that?
Right.
Because that's the first thing. And then, I'm like, and it was a young, punky kid. He wasn't a tough guy.
You say the fucking button thing. Like, I remember I had a fucking celly one time. He comes in. We were cellies. Like, we ended up being cellies. And he was a fucking Mexican gang member. He's like, listen, Cox. He said, I do this and I do that. But look, sometimes if I have problems with somebody, I'm like, I gotta know. If they come in here, I gotta be able to count on you. And I looked at him. I said, I'm gonna tell you something. If they come in here hard, and he goes, yeah. I said, I'm going to hit the button on my way out the fucking door. I said, I'm letting you right now. I said, I'm going to go to the guard. Yeah. I said, but you cannot count on me. Do you understand? I will hit the button. I will get the guard. I'm not fucking doing nothing for you, though. I'm not fighting nobody. I got no fucking knife, and I'm not interested in being involved. Yeah. And he was like, fucking white boy, motherfucker. I said, I'm just letting you know. You move in here, that's what it is.
That's how it is.
And he was like... Well, I guess I better not have any trouble. I said,
there you go.
Exactly. That's
what a
where we're
smart
at.
Man.
That's where we're at.
I had a guy in Honduras with me, Jose Montoya. We were good friends. And he got like 30 years. He used to play football, soccer. And, a guy moves down 2 cells down from us, from Salvador. Short, fat kid, nice kid. tatted up. And, I'm talking to him, and one of the guys on the cell block was talking in front of his cell in the morning. He just got there. And he says to him, just kind of what you said earlier. He said it in a nice way. He says, listen, please, in the morning. He had a strong accent, the guy. He says, in the morning, can you talk somewhere else? Because he's out front of his door all the time.
Oh, yeah, so
He says, yeah, okay, no problem. He does it again. Now the guy's talking to me, and I told Jose, I didn't call him Jose, I called him Montoya. I said to Montoya, this guy's serious. He should think. Now, Montoya's a serious guy. And I said, yeah, 100%. So the guy goes in his cell, I forget his name, and he's packing his stuff. And he says, John, it was nice meeting you. I knew it,
He's going to the hall.
He gets a razor.
He's going to the hall.
And he razored the fuck out of him. And I told Montoya, I told you he's going to do something. I said, you could tell he was going to do something. He's a real guy.
Yeah.
No bullshit, very quiet. He wasn't like a big mouth. And, when he came over and said, hey, it was nice meeting you, brother. So this guy's going.
Oh, shit. Because he wouldn't shut up. He was disrespecting him. He was trying to sleep or something, right? He was trying to sleep.
He's sleeping. He's right. It's early in the morning.
Right.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
They drink the coffee in front of the cell.
Yeah.
So, John, real quick, I know bits and pieces of your story, but I mean, if you had to summarize it in 10 or 15 minutes, what's the basic
Wait.
rundown
He doesn't get 10, 15 minutes right here.
You got like an hour and a half.
No fucking way. We do one-on-one on our own. Right now, give him a little synopsis. This guy's crazy.
He did.
10, 15
How long
minutes.
did he do? When I interviewed him, let's check.
No fucking way.
Dow.
What's the matter? Pinky.
Yeah.
Pinky Descador. Yeah, I just hit it.
You got an hour and 54 minutes is what yours was. An hour and 50. Was it an hour and 54 minutes?
154, yeah.
My God,
I mean, I can leave if you guys want to do a one-on-one. Go ahead, Johnny.
So, Matt, I'll give you a quick overview of my life. So the people that most people think that are listening to my story, my background, that it started with the Gottis. That's not really the truth. It kind of was the middle of my life. The beginning of my life is my father was involved with gangsters. He lived in Lower East Side, Manhattan, Seward Street, Rivington, and his neighbors were guys like Vito Genovese. His friends was Charlie Luciano, Lucky Luciano, his first cousin. Blackie was also a made guy, became my father's partner, my uncle's partner, in nightclubs and card games and things like that. So I was raised around these guys. Little Al Greco, who's a big name in North Jersey, killer in jail, got life. These were my father's friends. So I was introduced to them as a young kid. Then later on, my baseball coach was Fat Andy Ruggiano's sons, who I still talk to. Anthony Ruggiano, he does shows with me, his brother Albert. And their father was the boss of our neighborhood of the Gambino family. So I was raised around gangsters.
Right.
Then my little girlfriend at the time's uncle and father were wise guys with the Lucchese family. Those were my other friends. Later on, the Burke family, Frankie Burke from the famous movie Goodfellas was one of my best friends. And later on, he gets killed. And I'm actually one of the guys that come to the house and tell this, not one of, I am the guy that comes to the house to bring the sister to Kings County Hospital in Brooklyn so we can identify the body, that it's her brother, after he got shot in the head 5 times by another mutual friend of ours, Tito, who later on, he gets shot in the head 10 times in retribution for killing Frankie. This is our nation.
So this is like a mortgage broker.
Yeah.
Right. So it's a lot like the mortgage. It's a lot like being a mortgage broker,
So
right? Yeah.
When people ask me, where you going? Bye-bye.
I can't see me.
Oh my God. Are you serious? I think they can see you.
It was blocking my fucking beautiful face.
Here's the problem. He's cutting into my 10 minutes.
I was going to say.
No, you go ahead. I'll shut up.
Do I get 10?
How does this pink? Does this pink look good?
Really like
Come on, really.
We needed to put a hanky in it.
Oh, I got to get a hanky.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's fine.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. So you
fine.
killed.
Anyway.
Listen, mortgage brokers and killers. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
That's a good title.
I grew up in a very violent world, whether I liked it or not, around serious gangsters, top gangsters in the world. Later on, I end up with the Gottis. So getting there is my preparation. Like people go to grammar school, to junior high school, to high school. I'm raised in this life, and I'm around blood, violence, the gyms, boxing, with the Ruggianos also, their father and my father's friends. So when people are surprised to hear that how did it get so close in Albanian immigrant family, from Albania, did I get so close to the mob and the Gotti family? It's not really because I was around other crews earlier in life that were huge in the mob world. So, when you get into this world, you have to either know somebody or be trusted after a while. But I was raised around this since I'm a kid, like I said. So it brought me right into the violence. I made a lot of money in the drug business, and in the violent world, I became a very aggressive guy. And people, when I try to talk about it, I talk about it because I want to show the downslide and downfall of this life, not the aggressive part.
The $35 million Forbes magazine articles, all that shit.
Yeah.
It's not about that.
No.
It was at the time.
I mean, listen, as a young guy, and I'm pulling in my driveway and it's 7 blocks long. You got a boxing ring outside, and baseball cages, 3 homes, a lake, built-in pool. Yeah. I don't realize as a young guy, hey, I bought this property at about 23, 24 years old. I bought 16 properties or whatever. I bought 12 properties to be exact, I think. But in conjunction over the years, probably 16 to 20 properties. And you just don't realize the level at you want more.
Yeah.
Because it's not about just the money. It's about the power. It's about the style of living you have. It's about the success that you see in your mind coming from nothing, that you want more and more and more. And what I try to do in our show is, we had, at one time it was called Mafia Truth, and then we changed it to the Elite Show, is to show people that your situation or Mike's situation, my situation, you may be up here, but don't worry, you're going to come down that slide, because there's no way you're staying up here if you're on the street. You're going to hit that. You're going to hit bottom. And
what's it like to fill out an application today? What do you put on the application today?
Well, when I first came home, and this, people asked me, fill out an application.
Yes.
Yeah. And, my parole and everybody's asked me. I go, yeah, I did. And I says, but here's the problem. They write, have you ever been convicted of a misdemeanor? Yes. Have you ever been convicted of a felony? Yes. Do you have a driver's license? No. What was your felony charge? Several murders.
Yeah.
I mean, who's hiring you? Do you have trouble with authority?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you're not getting a job unless you're going to. And this is one of the things I talk about, second chance programs for inmates, ability once you go to jail to come out and get any job, whatever that job may be. If you can qualify for that job, they should be able to give a job so you have a chance at life again. If you don't give us and other people like us a chance, then you're asking them to go back into that revolving door because you're not giving them that shot. And then, kids from my neighborhood, we grew up on Jamaica Avenue, East New York, South Jamaica. We all grew up a certain way. And I understand that it's a tougher life for us than some other people. But that doesn't mean that you got to go into a life of crime. We were just guys trying to take a shortcut. And, the problem is you look at our government, the way it's situated, then and I speak about this on a show.
Right.
I don't like listen, look what's going on in Ukraine and Russia now, right? Who knows what's true, because we know we can't trust our media. We know what they've been telling us for 2 years during the pandemic. We know what they're telling us during BLM. Don't believe your lying eyes that you see.
What, the burning buildings?
Please be in a
peaceful riot?
Yeah.
It's a
peaceful riot.
Demonstration.
Yeah, this is a joke. So when we see that the manipulation just of that, then I'm not sure that anybody's ever going to believe the media, what's going on in Ukraine and Russia. You got to question everything that's being said now, because we've seen so much lying going on to us that this government has allowed this to happen, where now we are no different than a third world country of bullshit media. We're no different. We're not getting the real story. We don't know really, and I've seen some UFC fighters actually talk about this. We don't know what went on. We do know one thing. Biden was over in Ukraine before he was elected president, was pocketing all kinds of money. And there was a situation, all of a sudden now we're in the middle of getting ourselves involved in a war. And as bad as I feel for the people and the kids, because you feel terrible for them, it's the governments we don't trust, because we don't know what's really going on. And like that, and I'm going to make a correlation, with the mob world, it's the same thing. It's all smoke and mirrors and bullshit. And when you buy into it, you're really a sucker.
The other day, Matt, John and I had a conversation. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I'm not saying anything.
Okay. I thought you had a question there.
No.
The other day, John and I were driving in the car, and John says to me, if I put that much energy and effort that I put into this whole lifestyle, into a regular job or business, how much where would we be today? In other words, so because we're looking at $1 million homes and the things that, like you were in construction, I don't know if you did any flipping, but you did mortgaging and all that stuff. If we just put that kind of energy and effort into we call it easy money, but by the way, there is no easy money. The dope money, all that money, nothing's easy because there's a cost to all of it. The free money you got, there was a cost to all of it. At the time, it seems easy and free, but the cost is listen, we're paying the rest of our lives for it, including yourself.
Yeah.
We'll pay for it.
I worked very hard at fraud.
Yeah. So, it was a lot of work. But if you pull out legit, if you bought a house, flipped it, bought another one, flipped it.
But you were very successful in the fraud business until you went to jail.
Yeah.
Right.
You got caught.
Yeah.
Right.
But the thing is, the way we helping each other now, doing this, we could have helped each other back then the right way.
Yeah.
Right.
And became very successful.
If 3 guys with half the brains that we have.
Guys, I helped guys like, I used Duke Mandel and Timmy Donovan early. These guys I helped. I gave them all kinds of money. I started them out in businesses and they fucked me.
Yeah.
And, this also is the problem. You have guys that are just not nice guys. It doesn't matter what I did for a living. I wasn't a beat artist. These guys are beat artists. I would help them along. And you would think they'd be dedicated for me to the rest of their lives. Instead, they're trying to dig in your pocket when you're sleeping. So
people get entitled. They start thinking, you give them a couple $100,000 and they start to think that they earned it. It's
Well,
they forget.
Earn
I'll
it.
tell you a good story.
Gave it to you.
Yeah.
Timmy Donovan's father, when he was alive, had an argument with me because I gave his son a couple $100,000 to buy a building. I gave him money for the parking business. And his father's arguing with me. And I said to him, you know what's funny about you? I says, you're a nice guy, but you're full of shit. You wouldn't give your own son $1 because you didn't trust him. But it's okay for him to take my money, go ride around on motorcycles inside my building, sell weed, bookmake, and do anything else to fuck me out of my money without my permission. I said, play around like it was a couple of bucks. But why didn't you give him money? If you had such good faith in your son, you never trusted your own son. So you're talking bullshit. Just be a real guy and say it the way it is. But the problem is guys don't want to be honest with themselves because, being honest with themselves, they got to be truthful about their kid, what they raised.
How many murders did you plead guilty to?
I think I pled to 6 murders, conspiracies 4 and 2, and about 40 shootings.
Yeah, that's it. Well, I mean, I don't know. No, the reason is
Threw that in there.
Yeah,
I don't know why I threw it in there. Everybody's always curious to ask me that question.
Yeah, I actually never asked him that question until just now. By the way, that's the first time I ever asked him that question.
And I got to say though, when people ask me that question, whether it's you or somebody else, I try to show kids this life is bullshit by me saying, don't believe the rest of these guys. They didn't do this. They didn't do the work. Because you can put anybody on here and you got to sit with them and be very specific. I'm always asking everybody to do. And people always try to dance around it. Well, ask a guy, can you tell me the first time you did this kind of shooting? What were you thinking? What kind of guns you used? Where did it happen? And go to the second shooting, go to third. I'm going to tell you why. Most of them are going to stop at 1 or maybe 2.
Right.
And I blast Sammy Gravano for that all the time because he tells everybody he's a perfect killer on his shows. He had a lot to say about me, but I've confronted him 100 times. He only shot a gun once. The second one I don't count because the second time was a 15 or 16-year-old boy. So that's his claim to fame, being a tough guy. They're full of shit. And if you weren't full of shit, you'd see there and list it when you're doing your podcast and you'd say, I did this, I did that, I did this. Instead, he tells you he's good at murder when he really didn't. He didn't do anything.
No, he
was known as Sammy the Bullshit Artist, actually, growing up. That was his nickname. So, nobody says that. They talk about the title they gave him. So, I always say the same thing. I can make a title for you today. You are now the new concierge of podcasting. You're my underboss, and, we can be full of shit like everybody else, because it's just some bullshit. And that's why I try to positive message to kids. Don't buy into any of this bullshit.
Get a job.
Do the right.
Get a job with a pen.
We decided the other day, you could go to UPS, start off driving a truck or loading trucks or whatever, and if you stay with them 10 years, watch how successful you get in stock options and everything. You don't need to do this.
I say FedEx. I use
FedEx.
I use the exact same thing all the time. Only I say FedEx.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right though.
Family member, I won't say who he is, was on the street with me, in trouble. Faced murder charges, beat him, and he turns his life around. And he works for a major corporation, right? From nowhere. And he makes almost $500,000 a year. So it can be done.
Yeah.
If that's really, the mindset is I didn't know any better, I guess. I was raised in this life since I'm a kid. I had some chances, and
Well, you had a baseball scholarship.
Well, and then I had an arm injury, so I had some chances. And when they fell, University of Tampa, when they fell out, I used that as an excuse to continue on the street. I didn't have to go on the street. I could have did something else, right? I could have got a job somewhere else. I didn't do that. So what I try to tell kids is be true to yourself, right? Well, not just kids, men, anybody, woman. Be true to yourself. Don't give up on yourself like that, because you're just going to struggle the rest of your life, and it's going to bring you up. Look how much heartache we had. We're talking about all the thing, but how much heartache did you sit with your hands in your face crying? How many times you were depressed, sitting in jail cells, and everybody left you. You told a story earlier about your girl.
Depressed. I was kissing the fucking cinder blocks. I woke up kissing cinder blocks.
Got to come across, yeah.
I was kissing cinder blocks, like deep throating and everything, in the joint. Yeah, I woke up. You wake up mad, like I thought there was someone there with me. I was kissing cinder block walls. That's not a joke. That's real. I fucking was kissing.
When I talk about the violence too, you got to remember. So when I'm talking about the violence. It's like I'm talking about somebody else. It was a different lifetime.
Matt's like, what the fuck is he saying?
Yeah,
you didn't kiss no cinder blocks?
I mean,
you didn't kiss cinder blocks?
Out of all the talent out there, this is what you ran with this guy?
You were kissing. Did you ever kiss a cinder block?
No.
Come on.
No.
Come on.
No.
None of those dreams?
Hey,
no.
Come on.
Everybody calls me and says either they love him or they call me and they tell me, what are you guys doing?
Listen, I thought when we did our interview, when you left, I thought, worst fucking interview I've ever done. It was horrible.
Yeah.
I totally, when you left, I was like, holy shit, I never asked him about this, never asked him about that. And I was like, fuck. And I was like, oh, this is horrible.
Yeah.
And then that video just kept going and going and in the comment section, there was only 2 comments on him. I could listen to this dude forever. He's amazing. Or, bro, I just couldn't watch, bro. I can't stand that guy.
How could you stay in the room with this motherfucker?
Yeah, exactly. Like, how could you? It was just one. It was one or the other. But I was thinking that what you just said about the back to, So
kiss him block. Listen.
I'm always asked, like, if you could do it. Not always, but could you do it over again? Or do you regret? I always love do you regret anything? Do I regret anything? Do I regret getting out of fucking prison at losing 13 years?
Yeah. No, it was fun.
I loved it.
I love it.
Getting out at 50 with nothing.
Yeah.
Everybody's given up on you.
Oh, yeah.
And rightfully so. You're a scumbag.
Right.
Like, I'm doing scumbag fucking things.
Right.
Like when the first couple of years I was locked up, I hated everybody. Everybody fucking piece of shit. This guy, I gave that guy money. I did this.
Right.
I don't want to return my calls. Yeah. This guy, everybody. It was everybody else's fault.
Right.
And then eventually you get to that point where you start to realize, no, if you're lucky, because I know guys that did 20 years and still hate everybody.
Yeah.
And they went out and they're bitter and they're going to die of a heart attack. Yeah. The truth is, by the time after a few years, I started realizing, no, I put me here.
Yeah.
And people say that now, man, I can't believe you did all that time. Can't believe that they gave you that much time. No, they didn't give me that much. I gave me that much. I put me in jail.
Well, here's the problem, Matt, right? And I'm very honest too. And people ask me questions. I understand, really do understand why I shot and stabbed and batted a lot of guys. They deserved it. This is being honest.
Right. Well, that's.
Well, I was going to say these.
If you've seen a list, I can write 10 names right now.
Yeah, but these are other criminals. These are other guys that are committed.
It's not. It's not that. They are looking for when they test the waters and they're not sure. Like there's 10 guys right now. I could write a list that I, in some ways, wish I was the guy I used to be because I'd slaughtered them because I know.
You mean current guys?
Current guys right now.
Oh, okay.
But here's the difference.
Am I on that list?
No, you're off the list. You were on the list the other day because why you were snoring loud.
I'm sorry.
So those 10 guys they really deserve to get what I used to do. And they know I'm not going to do it. So they got big mouths and they talk nonsense and they're not in the league with me when it comes to this. They will try to because of their egos and they're full of shit and whatever. And they talk because it's eerie. You can type away and all that. But the difference is, and this is what I try to tell kids that are going through what I'm going through, or men that are going through what I'm going through, it ain't worth your own life to do that. Before I didn't realize that. I was willing to give up my life for that. Now I say to myself, as much as I want to do it, I'm not hurting myself. So that's always going to be my message to everybody. And I say it all the time, you might as well look in the mirror and shoot yourself then. Because this is very easy for me to do what I used to do. I know they're full of shit because when there was no cameras out there, they weren't doing anything. Now there was technology and cameras. They're still talking when they didn't do it back then. So this is at the end of the day, you got to say to yourself, what's my life worth? Now my life's worth something. Back then, I didn't think it was worth anything for whatever reason. And I went through therapy, and now my high is to help other kids not do what I used to do. Say, I get what you're doing because, people say to me, how'd you change? I didn't change that much. I just don't react the same. I mean, I still have that same feeling to go after guys that are really fucking with me, or guys that are screwing me, or guys like, say, Duke or Timmy. I just brought up their names earlier, or Mike Mallon, and these guys that robbed me and beat me. Every day I think about, but I won't react anymore because I know that it's just not worth my life to react to these guys, and that these guys somewhere down the line are pieces of shit and they'll get what they got.
And we got a show to do.
And I believe that really.
We got a show to do.
Pay some way, I believe, with God, with karma, whatever. And, and I just look at it and I go, you know what, move forward, do the right thing for kids and put them in the right direction, and do the right thing for myself and family, enjoy my life.
Right.
So
what a nice guy. You're so sweet.
Thanks.
You're so sweet. He actually is a sweetheart and a charmer too. I tell you, he really. So let me.
He's
yeah. What? Yeah.
It was fucking 30 minutes. He's got 30 minutes.
Right. Okay. All right. So at one point you were given guns. At what point? What was that for? What's going on with? It had something to do with Gotti Jr.
Yeah, what happened was in the mid-'90s.
I want to get you in the mic. I want them to hear that because you're so far away from the fucking mic.
Yeah.
Motherfucker. He don't kill anybody no more. I can say that.
What happened was in the mid-'90s, there was a lot of, after guys were being hit back and forth over Paul Castellano in the mid-'80s got hit. And then later on in the '90s, when Senior goes to prison, Gotti Jr. takes over. And when he takes over, the family is the acting boss. Half of the family from the faction of the Castellanos aren't happy about Junior and leadership, and Gotti Sr. calling the shot from prison. And you have guys like Danny Marino. You have guys like Joe Watts.
I met Danny Marino, just for the record. Yeah, I did. White Mercedes-Benz convertible.
Jimmy Brown, failure. You have these guys who are loyalists to Paul Castellano. They don't like what happened. They don't respect Junior in the position, and Nicky Carrazzo and so forth from the Brooklyn guys that start having discussions about killing Gotti Jr. and killing his uncle, John Gotti Sr.'s brother, Pete, and the brother-in-law, Carmine, at the time. So they discuss it. Somebody comes to see me, Charles Koenig, and he says to me, would you hit these guys? And I said, tell me what's going on. He says, well, they want him out of the way. They want to run the family. They don't want him there. They don't want Senior running the family from prison. It's over for them. I said, all right. And he said,
did you have a choice, you think, at that moment?
Yeah, I had a choice.
Yeah,
I had a choice, but I had my own problems with Gotti at the time, not the father, but with the son and them, and they were talking too much, and I didn't like it. And I went through names in the past of guys I hit around him. One of them, Johnny Gabbett, the other one, Stevie Newell, that later on he just passed away, became a friend of mine, believe it or not, again, and he was on my show. My own cousin, Nicky, I shot him up. Joe Kane, that was around him, we battered him. Then later on, we stabbed him up. He was around Gotti, and then we robbed a couple bookmakers around him. We took one of his uncle's son-in-laws, and we beat him real bad on the side of Bell Park. We left him for dead. So we started attacking all their guys, and they never retributed back. And so I guess they came to me to step it up to the next thing and hit these guys. They gave me a machine gun. They gave me a 9mm. I took those guns and I put them in a tattoo shop in Ozone Park that everybody knew of. That was a friend of ours, and we grew up with him on Jamaica. He was a childhood friend. And we put the guns in there in Kubo's shop. Now, he knew the guns were there. Obviously, they're in his safe, but he didn't know who the hit was on for. And it was supposed to be for them. And during the negotiations, we're trying to set up where we're going to hit him. We were going to hit him in a restaurant that we're going to. And I was going to come in through the back kitchen. And I had two shooters that were going to come in from the front and to make sure nobody could run out, and I was going to do the shooting when we have a driver. At this point, after we're talking about how we're going to set up, how we're going to do that, who's going to come, they call off the hit, and they ask for the guns back. Because what I was told, senior guys...
That's never a good thing, huh?
Well, they agreed to stepping over, and they had a panel of guys who would run a family, and they agreed to let certain guys like Nicky Croszo step in on that panel and collect the money and see as really the face of the Gambino family. He's a legitimate gangster and tough guy, and he's been around for forever. When they asked for the guns back, I refused to give them back. Because I know the situation I'm in now, that both sides, and then I'll be the guy in the middle. So I wouldn't give the guns back. And I told my guys, nobody gives his guns back until I was going to prison. I had several cases at the time. And so they panicked that I won't give the guns back. Unbeknownst to me at that time, they told me they actually got the guns from Gotti Jr. himself, not knowing that the shooting was going to be on him. And we were going to kill him.
So how'd that work?
They kept asking for the guns back. Junior was asking, where's my
guns?
And I'm not giving them back. And that's why they're asking me to give them back. And I told Charles, nobody's getting those guns. I said, nobody's getting anything.
So Junior,
Junior gave them the guns to have himself whacked with.
Right. And it comes all out during the trials. So when people ask me, the betrayal of the mafia, and the funny thing is, these guys talked about killing me 100 times too. So, our plot actually went a little further. But when people talk about friendships in this life, there is none.
Now, you guys were technically best of friends, technically. You and Junior.
I mean, we were good friends. I mean,
you slept at his house.
Yeah, slept at his house. I was in his wedding, at his wedding. There was only a couple hundred people at the Helmsley Palace. He was the best man at mine, his signature. I was in his sister's wedding party. So, we were close. When people say we're on, I don't know how many more videos and photos and family gatherings we need. So.
Go kill your best man. I'm not laughing. It's not funny, but that's funny.
Well, in that life, there is no best friends. Right. There is no anybody who believes anything. Just look at it. Don't take my word for it. Look at history of everybody hitting each other.
Yeah.
Everybody's hitting each other all over the place. Best friends, bosses, underbosses. This is the life. It's nothing but treachery. There is no friend.
And who can hurt you the most?
It's about who
can get close to you.
And who's got the most money? How do you get it? How do you take the power? How do you take the platform? And that's what that life's about. Anybody tells you anything different, they're so full of shit. And the people that comment that don't know, they're so naive to understand the level that we play at. Even till today, when I'm out of that life, they're still bent on coming after me because they have to retract from the truth. They somehow.
Yeah.
And, there's so much more in that life that I could sit here for a year straight and talk about this stuff and the things we're on. But the thing that happens is guys come out of the woodwork like Lee did, that was in prison with me in McKean.
Right.
So there's a million guys that grew up with us that know the factual stuff of what went on in this life. And, when Gotti's lawyer, the father's lawyer, Richie Raybach, was my attorney up to about 2000. So, or anyway, till I went to prison in the 90s, the middle, late 90s. So, these are the ties we all have to each other because of we want to keep a thumb on each other to know what everybody's doing, so they're not cooperating or whatever else is going on.
Right.
Yeah.
So I have a question. So, basically, there's a hit on you, right? Like, there's guys out there that want to have you murdered. Am I wrong about that?
Right now?
In general, I mean, haven't there been?
When we live that life, I've been stabbed up, I've been shot, I've been battered, I've been hit by cars, I've been everything. Guys try to kill me, I don't know how many times, 10 times, 12 times. There were setups. Guys that used to be my enemies, very serious guys. I mentioned them a lot.
We circled the block a few times before we came. We circled the block a few times before we came in. Yeah.
They had different schemes to try to hit me, and we discuss it now. We laugh about it because we're out of that life. So that's just part of it. We were raised like this. Every day is part of that. There's nothing special that they're trying to hit you today, as crazy as that sounds. That's like saying to somebody that goes and serves a tour in Iraq or Afghanistan, do you think about it? I mean, it's part of their everyday life. They put the uniform on, it's part of it. Police officer puts his uniform on, it's part of it. That's why I'm always talking about pro-America, pro-police, pro-USA, because they're risking themselves every day. They're out there in a good way. We risk ourselves every day. whether or not, because when you're doing what I do and you hurt as many people and shoot people and kill people, you're always going to be a target, right? And that's just the way it is. But this ain't the 80s and 90s when there's consequences to your actions. Before, guys will be dropped constantly. Now you don't see guys getting dropped. I mean, guys could get killed still, but it's not nowhere near as dangerous.
Unless you're in Chicago right now. New York is turning back into the old West again with the
not gangsters.
No, the street kids pushing people into subways, robbing them, shooting them up. I mean, it's getting stupid out there again.
But, it's a different world.
It's a different world. Yeah,
I talk about that. The street kids from my neighborhood, the gangsters are tough kids.
Yeah.
And I just hope I reach some of them so they don't follow that street shit.
Because it's getting them nowhere. Thanks, Matt, for having us in your studio on the John Alite Show. It's been really been an excellent time, John. What do you think?
What do I think? I already know Matt. He's a gentleman. I enjoy being in his company. So this is not the first time we've been together. You know that.
Yeah.
We're friends, and I love being on with you.
Well, thanks for having us in your studio on the John Alite Show.
No problem.
So anybody that's looking and enjoyed the interview with Matt Cox, look for him on his channel, YouTube, Matthew Cox. And if you need any information, you can always reach out to us on the True John Alite Instagram, my website, johnalite.com. We have books. We have my baseball bats out that I sign, and anything that you need, schedules of my shows that are coming out, movies, TV programs, that'll all be on my website. So again, if you're looking for Matthew Cox on his channel, you can find him on YouTube or ask me directly on emails or write my website. Thank you.